My second day in Lisbon was my best day in Lisbon because this was the whole day to myself. I had already done all my travel the previous day, so there was no hassle of that, no flights to take, no immigration, no customs, nothing. I did not have to carry my backpack with me because I had the hotel room already and I was not working this day, so I had the full day for sightseeing or anything I wanted to do. So let's get into the story of the second day in Lisbon.
Let's go travel the world, see the sights we need to see. From mountains, skies and oceans deep, we are wild and free. Come on, travel the world, there's so much we can do. Every city, every town, making memories to you.
Welcome back to Sunny Escapades. We are talking about Lisbon and my second day in Lisbon. I started this day quite early. I got up at 6 o'clock, but I did not get out at 6 o'clock because it was still a bit dark outside and I wanted to go for a walk. I have recently been doing a morning walk and I feel that it is quite a good thing to start the day. And although when I travel, I usually don't do the morning walk, but this time, because strange city, strange country, don't feel comfortable going out when there are not many people around. In Portugal, I was feeling comfortable enough already that I thought, okay, I can try it. So I left about 7 o'clock in the morning and it was still not very crowded. There were not that many people. On the main road, there were some cars and some traffic. But other than that, the streets, the smaller streets especially, were pretty much deserted. And there is quite a bit of, the uphill and downhill in Lisbon. So you have to have good shoes when you go to Lisbon. Keep that in mind, especially in some areas like Alfama and all that. So I walked around my plan was about half an hour, but it was almost close to an hour that I did because I just walked around and I took some pictures and it was nice. It was a good walk and it was a nice, pleasant time of day as well because like I said, not very crowded. One thing that I needed at this time was that I needed a toothpaste because I had forgotten to pack my toothpaste this time. I usually keep a small half tube of toothpaste in my travel thing so that I can just pack that every time. But this time I forgot, and also my toothbrush had run out of batteries. It needs two AA batteries. So I thought, okay, this is something that I want to do, so let's do it in local style. I looked on Google Maps for some grocery stores, but it was too early. Even the ones that said on the Google map that they are open at this time, they were not. So I tried 2 or 3 of them and then finally said, okay, let's go back. I went back to the hotel and then I asked the reception to see if they would have any toothpaste or toothbrush. They did. And they had a little kit like in a cardboard box that had a toothbrush and also a little tiny tube of toothpaste. So that sorted me out for a few days. I bought fresh toothpaste later on because I wanted Colgate. No sponsorship, sadly, but yeah, I like the sensitive one. So I bought fresh later on because these things, I like doing these things in a strange country because they kind of give you a better idea of what the prices are and how the people are. Because if you go to a small shop or if you go to a small supermarket kind of place where you have fine provisions and food kind of things, it's usually a better idea of the local culture than if you just go to touristy areas and go to touristy bars and restaurants and souvenir shops. So I like doing these things a little bit, but I'm weird, so take it or leave it up to you. But yeah, so they sorted that out and I also asked them if they could get me a better chair because the chairs that they had in the room, they were very small low back chairs as well, which were not very comfortable. And because I was planning to work from there for 3 days, so I wanted to have a slightly better chair if possible. And they were very low backed and they were not comfortable at all. I had tried them the previous night, so I wasn't sure that they would have anything. But surprisingly, they did. They said, yeah, they will bring one to my room. And they did. Within a few minutes, somebody came and then they gave me a straight back chair still, but upholstered and much more comfortable for posture than the smaller ones. Still not like an ergonomic chair that I have at home, but this was a hotel, so I was happy to have any improvement. This hotel was really good, the Principe Villa. They provided everything I asked for. Whenever I had any special requests like this, they always were able to provide, and with a lovely smile and quick service. So I would recommend this hotel if you want to go to Lisbon and want to have a good hotel. like a nice 4-star hotel, not very expensive. Okay, so once I came back from my walk, obviously I was a little warm and sweaty, so it was a good time to take a shower. Nice bathroom, nice shower cubicle. They had supplied me with some all-in-one kind of shower shampoo gel kind of thing, which was okay. Not great, not luxury level, but it was all right. And one thing that I liked in this hotel was that although they had that same round soap in the hotel bathroom that every hotel has it, which I hate, this is my pet peeve, but they also had hand wash, the pump kind. So I did not use that soap after I realized that they had the proper hand wash there as well. So shower, and then after that got ready and then went down to the breakfast at the first floor. This hotel also had really good breakfast. I would say that again, it's not the best breakfast because that owner has gone to a hotel in Greece, in Athens, which had absolutely fantastic food. But this hotel, Principe Villa, also had really nice breakfast. They had the white cheese was really nice, and they had juices. They had a nice expensive coffee machine for lattes and macchiatos and things like that. They also had some salad, scrambled eggs, and also a section for dessert, like pain au chocolat. There was a raisin play, quite a few things. Also, one thing which you would hear a lot in Lisbon is the peste de nata, and the famous one is the peste de bellum, which I tried I think the next day or a couple of days later. But the hotel also had them. This is like a custard tart, and it was nice. It was nicer than that famous one for which there is usually a long queue. I did not stand in the queue, but there usually is a long queue for that one. The hotel one was better, but even then I would say it was okay. I would not say that you have to go to Lisbon for that. If you go, you should try it out. But it was a little bit too gooey and too runny for my taste. It's eggy, obviously, because it is the nata is the egg, I think, and it was sweet. But yeah, I finished the one that I had in the hotel. When I tried in the Peste de Bellum, I did not finish that. It was like even more runny. So runny and liquidy and like sweet. But keep in mind that I grew up in India, and the desserts in India are the top level. And I'm not biased. I have tried desserts in many different countries of many different kinds of desserts, and the stuff they have in Paris is fantastic. The stuff they have in Italy, like the tiramisu, oh, fantastic stuff. Yeah, absolutely amazing. But for sheer variety and the level of desserts, nobody can beat in India anywhere in the world, because every state has their own cuisine, every state has their own desserts. There are so many names that I can say which are my favorite. So having grown up eating that sort of desserts, that sort of sweets, when somebody tells me this peste is like the world famous pastry, I take it with a grain of salt. Not literally, because it's a sweet thing, but I don't get taken in by the hype. I tried and I said, okay, fine, not fine. Okay. I went to Paris literally to check what pastries they had that have not been exported to other countries. And they do have a few different ones, and they are nice. So I'm not going to say just India is the only place where you can find good dessert. There are other places, but India has just more variety, and all of that variety is absolutely great quality. So that's why I say that India is in top in my book for dessert. So peste de nata, try it in your hotel, try it somewhere else. Don't bother about standing in the queue, okay? So that's just, I'm busting that hype right now. So I had that breakfast that was quite nice, and the room had a nice large glass wall, so you could sit near the window and then look outside, and it was quite good. After that, I did something very active, which is that I went to bed again and took a nap. I think maybe half an hour or like an hour, because I was a bit not what you would call tired from the last day's travel, but you get more into like a hypnotic kind of zone when you're traveling a lot. And my travel was like the whole day to go from Doncaster all the way to Portugal. So had that little nap, which was nice. And then I knew that I would be going out and I would not be coming back before sunset. So I did not want to go for so long that it would be like 9-10 hours. I thought, okay, if I can go for 5-6 hours, that would be good enough. That is like my level. That's my extent of sightseeing I can do in one day. And because I was traveling solo, so hey, I'm making the plan and I'm sticking to the plan. So nobody there to say, oh, we want to see that also, or we are tired, or we want to have food which is nice and proper, sit and rest for 2 hours. Nope, nothing. nothing. I am the boss. I decide where I'm going to spend my time. So this day I went only for a few hours. So I left about 2 o'clock, and it was a very warm day as well. So you don't want to be out too much in the sun as well, because it's not a beach. And one thing that is also great in Lisbon, which I had got introduced to in Rome and later on got addicted to in Budapest, is e-scooters. Budapest also has e-scooters, and they have more companies of e-scooters. So I knew about this. So I already have a couple of those companies. I think I have Bolt and Uber, couple of those apps on my phone. They're all set up. So I took an e-scooter and then traveled around with that a little bit. And I wanted to go to Alfama district today. And it is nice to ride a scooter in Lisbon because drivers, just like Budapest, the drivers are nice. They don't honk at you. They don't crowd you into the curb. And another thing which is even better than Budapest is that they have more cycle lanes. So they have either cycle lanes on the road itself, where there's just a line dividing the traffic and the cycles, the bike lane, or there are wide cycle lanes on the footpath. So there's like a very wide footpath divided from the road, separated from the road by a row of trees, and then out of that, half of that is divided to give you a cycle lane. So like wide cycle lanes all over the place, which was really good. The only caveat here is that not all the roads in Lisbon are suitable for e-scooters or bikes, because some of them are cobbled roads. So they are literally like rocks. So they are smooth stones, but small stones and lots of uneven stones. So some of those roads, like the ones that go to Alfama, are horrible in terms of if you want to ride any kind of your own vehicle. Even a car, I would not take my car there, because in some place there was ruts in the road and you might damage the underside of the car. And on this route, the tram 28 also travels on this route, goes all the way to the castle. But the problem was that I tried to go into that, but within like 10 feet, I knew that this is not a place for e-scooter. I had to come back out to the main road and thought, maybe can I find another way to go to Alfama with e-scooter? No, not possible. So ultimately, I parked it someplace on the main road in a parking, and this is different from Budapest. In Budapest, you can probably park that anywhere, just off the road, by the side of the footpath. You can leave the e-scooter pretty much anywhere. In Lisbon, you have to put it in the actual parking. It was same in Oxford as well, which is fine because there are so many parkings and they had lots of space there as well. So I parked there, and then I took out my Google Maps and I started walking in the direction of Alfama. And Alfama is famous for its, the narrow winding streets will remind you of this or that. It's okay. So narrow winding streets are all right. The good thing about the narrow streets is that you don't get direct sun on your back all the time, but it was still quite warm. And I was not carrying my full backpack, but I was still carrying my backpack for like a water bottle, my camera tripod and things like that. So it was okay. It was a little bit hard because of the heat, but I grew up in India. I grew up in Delhi, and in Delhi there is a place called Kharibawli near Chandni Chowk, and there are so many narrow streets there, even narrower than Alfama. They are not world famous for that, but they are very, very narrow. And I was learning, I was an apprentice there in a shop in Kharibawli. So I worked there for about 5 months. I used to have to travel those streets a lot because one of my jobs was to collect money from other businesses, the money that they owed my boss. So I did not go with a gun or anything. It's not like that, guys. It's not the mafia. It was a genuine bona fide business. They sell spices and they always sell on credit. So you go after like certain number of days and you collect the money. But because of that, I had to go into those narrow streets. And in those narrow streets, there are some very big businesses like multi-million rupees and billion rupees, multi-billion rupees businesses in those streets in little shops. Okay, so I have had my fill of narrow streets, but it was still okay. It was nice as in some pictures. Some of those were picture worthy, and there were lots of shops and restaurants and food shops in there as well. And obviously a lot of souvenir shops. Not all the time, but some especially near the top. And near the top, you get that panoramic view, which is quite lovely. You can see all those red rooftops of Portugal, which Lisbon is famous for. And you can see the sea. So it's a pretty nice view. I went there in the blazing sun of midday, which was bad. But if you go at like sunset time, it's absolutely gorgeous. I did go there again, and there was a little building which looked like a church, and I took some nice pictures of that. I thought this was the Castelo de São Jorge that they were advertising on the signs and the streets. It was not. I did not know that, and I did not even search for that on Google. But I thought it was, yeah, it was picture worthy. Later on, a couple of days later, I found the actual castle, and then I did go there and took some sunset picture as well. You will see those also. But for this day, yeah, so after a while, took some pictures of the little tram, the 28, which is quite nice. And I did not travel in the tram, and I don't regret it because it was very crowded and it was a long distance as well, because where it starts in the city and then it goes all the way to Alfama and all the way to the castle. That actually goes further up from where I was. It goes to actual castle, and I don't want to stand in a little crowded tram for all that, especially in those uneven kind of roads. They're not very good roads. But what you need is, you need a picture of that because it is a pretty tram. But it was a nice picture. And also, if you're outside the tram, then you can take pictures of the streets. You can take lots of pictures of the shops and everything, which you can't do from the tram that well. So I don't regret it because I got what I wanted. And I'm always about photography. I want to take lots of good photos and videos for my channel. Obviously, this is what you're watching. So after that, I thought, okay, I'm hungry. I wanted to get something. Yes, I wanted to get a cap because I had not taken my cap with me. I have a few caps, but I just buy a new cap everywhere. And this time I made a mistake. What mistake I made? Being too ambitious about bargaining. When I had come out of the airport into the station there was a shop which was selling caps and other souvenirs and stuff. And I asked him how much he was going to charge for one cap. And he said 8 euros. And then immediately as I shook my head, he said, okay, adjust it. I said, okay, never mind, I'll come tomorrow. Thing is, 8 euros was a good price already, and if he was going to adjust it, that would have been even better, because later on I could not find a cap in less than that. Here at Alfama, I asked some of the guys who were selling the caps outside, and they said 20 euros. Like, I laughed in their faces and walked away. But yeah, this is like a tourist trap stuff. So, you know, one thing that I found was quite standard here was the postcards. Postcards were everywhere, exactly 50 euro cents everywhere per postcard, unless you get some of the big ones like the thick cardboard ones and stuff like that. That door were more expensive. And also one thing I liked here was that pretty much every shop was also selling stamps, postage stamps for the postcards, and generally the postage stamps were more expensive than the postcards. So first time I bought postcards, I bought 4 postcards and I bought 4 stamps for them, and the postcard was 50 cents and the stamps were 2 euros each. So like 4 times price of the postcard. Okay, but the thing is, I think I should have bought more stamps from there because those were nicer stamps. They were like picture stamps, and that guy was saying that. I did not believe him. I don't believe people very much in these tourist shops because, you know, their job is to sell you stuff. So I bought only 4, but that was okay. Then later on bought normal stamps which were cheaper. I think they were 75 cents or 1 euro, the ones I bought later. Then I wanted food, so I started looking for food, and that was a bit hard here because I am vegetarian. Vegetarian food is a little bit of it's a bit difficult to find here. But I just kept walking down, and I've met a lot of Bangladeshi people here and some Indian, well, 1 or 2 Indians in the old Portugal, and some Nepali people as well. And I found out, and this is what you find out when you talk to people, is that Portugal used to be a nice place, an easy place where people could go and get a work visa and then get a passport in a couple of years, which is much easier than other places like Germany, France, Greece. So there were people who had worked in other places and they had come to Portugal to get the passport, and now it's become slightly harder from what some taxi driver told me. I talked to a lot of taxi drivers and a lot of shopkeepers and stuff, and a lot of inside info on the Portuguese life and the Lisbon life. So from there I kept going down, and then there was one shop which I liked, which had a few chairs, and I thought that I can just sit here and have an omelette or something. But that place did not do any food. They did only tea and coffee. Okay, that's fine. So I bought toothpaste from there, and there was one more thing I bought. I forgot what it was, but maybe not. I just bought toothpaste from there, and then I kept walking. That man, he did suggest some other shops further down. He said, okay, go to like a few doors down. I did go a few doors down, saw that shop, and they were doing food, but I am not a snob, but because I'm vegetarian, so I'm very particular about smell. So if something smells very much of meat, I cannot cannot just go and sit there. And this place was a little bit close, so I don't want to go inside and sit there. So I said, okay, I walked in and I just walked out. Ultimately, kept walking down and came back to the main road as well. And then there I found a shop where I could buy some socks, because if you have listened to my podcast or my vlogs before, you would know I don't take too much stuff with me, because I can buy some stuff from there for living there for a few days, and also it easier for me to travel light. So I travel light from this way, buy a couple of t-shirts, some socks and stuff from there, and bring whatever I want to bring from there. So I bought a few pairs of socks, I think two or three pairs of socks, and a nail cutter, because I had not taken mine. Obviously you can't pack one in your carry-on, and I only had that under seat bag to carry on with me, and then the AA batteries for my toothbrush as well. This was, I don't know, that girl gave me a toffee as well. Okay, she's like, oh yeah, this is for you. So okay, I don't know whether they do it for all the tourists or because I looked pretty much more interesting because I had the camera, little Osmo Pocket 3 in my hand. Anyway, so I bought this stuff from there, and then I found a place for food which was further down, and it was like a cafe, and I could sit outside as well. It was a very windy day. They had some umbrella set up. The next coffee shop, they were like little shops, so I don't know if you can even call them a cafe, because there was no space to sit inside, only outside. They had some umbrella set up as well, and the wind was so strong that it blew the umbrella from the other shop further, like several meters. Umbrella next to mine also, but mine was okay. So I asked him what I can get, and so I got a tomato and cheese sandwich. It was nice because it was grilled, so it did that very well. Nice bread, and I had a coffee. So coffee and sandwich, which was pretty filling because that was a big sandwich, really big sandwich. And then I walked around a little bit more there, but I wanted, because it was sunset time, so wanted to get some nice pictures of the sunset. So I found on the internet, I looked for where should I go for a good view of the city at sunset, and I went to, there's a word called Miraduru. Miraduru means viewpoint, and you will see this a lot in Lisbon, especially on the map as well. So Miraduru de Santa Lucia, Miraduru something. So I went to this Miraduru. It's called Miraduru de Santa Catarina, and I do not recommend this. I tried to get there by e-scooter because I love the e-scooter and I love the cool breeze that you get as you're traveling. If you don't want to be stuck in a bus or even in an air-conditioned taxi, it's better. But problem was that I kept getting lost, and I kept getting to these roads that are harder to navigate by e-scooter. Also, I found that Google Maps doesn't really work for e-scooters in Lisbon. For some walking and sometimes for like public transport, it was okay, but for e-scooters, not that much. It got me lost so many times, and it frustrated me so many times. Maybe because there are some different levels of roads as well sometimes, and some of the routes, some of the turns and things are in a way that like is up the stairs or in a corner. So Google Maps can't handle that, doesn't give you very clear directions for that. Public transport also, it kind of frustrated me for a while until I figured it out. So ultimately I left the e-scooter and I called a taxi. Taxis are cheap in Lisbon compared to UK, so that was quite easy. So I got the taxi, and then taxi dropped me to the actual viewpoint, and I walked like maybe 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and it was there. There are many reasons why I don't recommend this Miraduru, this viewpoint for the sunset pictures. Number one, the view is it's not unencumbered. It's not a clear view of the bridge. There is one great bridge in Lisbon which is called the Ponte, the bridge of the 25th April. Okay, and it looks like the Golden Gate. It's a beautiful bridge, and it looks even more beautiful if the sun is setting just at the time, and it's really good for photos. It looks exactly like Golden Gate, so why would it not? But the thing is, from here it's very much in the distance. There are lots of houses and stuff in the way, and it's not a clear picture. It's not a good angle and a lot of distance. So even though it is a very popular Miraduru or viewpoint, I would not recommend that. Another reason is it's very crowded. Because people know about this, because this is on Google and other places on the net, there are a couple of bars there where people hang out, and they charge you a lot of money as well. I tried one drink at one of the pubs. It was nice, but expensive. Like 8 euros for like a juice kind of drink. 8-9 euros. And also, because you can't get a good picture, and also it's very very crowded. Yes, but if you are the kind of person who is very social, who likes to get to know other travelers, other people when he's traveling, and you are the kind of person who can make friends easily everywhere with strangers like that, then you should definitely go there, because there are a lot of tourists. There are like a truckload of tourists who hang out here. So I think if you are drinking and hanging out, you would be very likely to make friends there. Okay, so for that you can go there, but for the pictures, don't go there. There are better places. I'll tell you the better places later. Yeah, so I did hang out there because there was not much time to go find some other better place. So I just hung out there, took some pictures, which you can see, and after that had a drink and then walked out from there. Came back to this whole area where I was before the Miraduru. That is called the Praça de Comercia. So that was also nice, but it's also very touristy. Okay, so from there you can get good picture of the bridge as well. And I wish I had stayed there rather than going to the Santa Catarina viewpoint. Okay, so again, here also there was somebody who was selling water. So I got a bottle of water because my bottle was empty, and it was like €4. And I said, why is it €4? Just like bottle of water should be like 75 cents or something. And he was like, well, it's the Praça de Comercia. So okay, yeah, so that's fine. But then because I questioned it or whatever, he gave it to me for €3. So saved €1 there. But I found that you have to bargain. I don't know if the water bottle is a bargainable item or not, but for most of the items you do need to bargain, especially in the souvenir shops. Bargain as best as you can. I tried and I got some, what I think was good bargains, but you never know. Maybe there are people who can do better than me. There are people who can do better than me, and they can get it for cheaper. But yeah, remember to bargain wherever you go. Then, yeah, after that, just came back from there. Miraduru, I did not call a taxi. I just looked for public transport, walked for a little bit. And the benefit of the walking a little bit was that I got to see some more roads, street life, and ultimately ended up walking to the Praça da Comercia. And there's this big arch that is called the Arco de Augusta Rua Augusta. So Red August maybe? I don't know, not Red August, but something with August. Anyway, so that's a nice arch. And again in the same square, the Praça da Comercia. Took the public transport to get back because I was getting quite used to this metro already. And I was hungry at this time as well. So not hungry, just hungry. And I thought I could just go to the mall and then get some food from there. Maybe what I had yesterday, the thing that I did not know the name of, the cheese and spinach thing. And by the time I got to this mall, the El Corte Inglés, it was about closed. What about closed means here is that it was closed. All the shops were closed, but there were some restaurants on a higher floor, fourth floor, which were open. So because of that, the outside doors were not closed. You could come in. And that's what the security guard told me. I came in and I walked on the floor where I had been before, and I saw there was one shop open, which was a pizza shop. Everything else was either already closed or closing, and those people were still serving pizza. So I said, okay, can I take a slice of pizza, please? So I took a vegetarian pizza from there. And the reason I'm telling you this, not because I had a pizza and funny, look at me, I'm so fancy, I eat pizza, because this was a good interaction. There was a lady, there was a younger girl, and there was a guy. They were the three people there. They were all from Africa. And the reason that I'm telling you this is that I got into a conversation with, I don't know how, I got into a conversation with them. The lady who was serving me, she asked me, okay, so, oh, you're here alone? It's first time in Portugal? I said, yeah, I am alone. So she's like, oh, why didn't you bring your family? I said, I have no family, I'm single. Oh, so beautiful, why no wife? Her English was not good, but she was still carrying on her conversation pretty competently, I would say. And I said, well, no, I don't want a wife. She said, no, get an African wife, no problem. So, okay, so that was her suggestion, recommendation. But here's the funny thing. There was a girl next to her, the younger girl. She was always saying, no, you're right. No wife means no trouble. If you have a wife, then that creates the trouble. So already there were these two opinions, and we were having like not a debate, but more like a banter, just like we were old friends. So this is something I liked in Portugal, that people were very friendly and open. If they could speak English, they would talk to you easily. So yeah, that had me laughing all the way to my hotel when I got back with my pizza slices. I had one pizza slice and saved the next one for next day because we were working from the hotel. So I thought maybe I can have this for lunch. It was okay pizza, not the greatest, but not bad either. Did not go to that shop again somehow because I ate pretty much different places every night. So that was the day. That was the second day. day, and I was already liking Portugal a lot, so I took more pictures, did more things in the next few days. And if you want to hear those stories, please make sure that you subscribe. And if you like this video, just click like. And if you have other people who like travel stories, feel free to share it with them. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.